The New York Rangers have fired head coach Alain Vigneault. In this video, we're going to take a look back at his time in New York and discuss how the team might proceed from here. And that's coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams. So if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So as we mentioned off the top, the New York Rangers have parted ways with head coach Alain Vigneault. We've discussed on this channel a few times here lately that it's been a kind of an odd season in a way where we haven't seen any NHL head coaches be fired during the season at all. As I also mentioned, I figured as soon as the season started to come to a close here, for some of these teams, especially the non-playoff teams, that we more likely would see at least a few dismissed early on within the first probably week or so that the season was come to a close. Well, the Rangers have wasted no time. Obviously, their final game of the season was yesterday during the afternoon, and by late last evening, they already come to the announcement here that Vigneault will not return as head coach. His time is up, and they'll be moving on to a new direction. Now, at this point, it hasn't been clear. I haven't found any reports to indicate whether or not assistant coaches Lindy Ruff or Scott Arniel will be back with the club, or if they're going to be let go as well, or if they're going to be considered for head coaching positions within the team, if they're going to be returning or not. So that part seems to be a little bit unclear so far. I mentioned details will emerge on the status of the remaining coaching staff here in the coming days once the Rangers discuss this a little bit more publicly. Alain Vigneault has been the head coach of the New York Rangers for the past 5 seasons. For the most part, had a fair bit of success, but obviously the last couple of years, things kind of been slowly declining. And obviously this year they had an 8th place finish in the Metropolitan Division, missed the playoffs for the first time in quite some time. And obviously things are going in a new direction. The Rangers made it perfectly clear earlier this season before the NHL trade deadline that they were going in basically into a full rebuild mode. They were going to be selling off a lot of assets, a lot of veteran players, and moving into another direction to try to get younger, faster, and more skilled. Obviously, they've made a lot of deals so far to kind of accomplish that to a degree, and I fully suspect that to continue here into the offseason. They still have a few more veteran players that I wouldn't be completely surprised here if they move based on the direction they seem to be heading. And we'll kind of go from there. It seems like, though, that the general manager, Jeff Gorton and Glenn Sather, they don't seem to be going anywhere. Ownership seems to be content to let them handle this rebuild and take them through down this new direction. And we'll see how quickly the Rangers can bounce back. Obviously, we've discussed here many times in this channel throughout the last little while. We've talked a lot about NHL top prospects, as well as free agency coming up this summer and things that could go down during the offseason. And it is quite possible that the Rangers might bounce back quickly here with the insertion of some of their young prospects and maybe signing a couple key free agents that might be available July 1. I fully suspect to see a lot of moves with this team completed once the Stanley Cup playoffs come to an end and the offseason goes into full swing here with trades picking up maybe again at the draft and free agency, etc. I don't think they're done by a long shot. Obviously, it's like I said, it's unclear whether or not maybe Lindy Ruff might be considered to take over the head coaching position, or maybe Scott Arniel. Hard to say. Or do they go in a new direction completely? So if you're a Rangers fan, leave some comments down below. Who do you think stands a good chance to be the next head coach for this team? Obviously, there's probably going to be some other coaches let go here in the short term. So we'll see which NHL experienced guys become available. Or do they go in a whole new direction as well? Bring in somebody that would be their first time as a head coach in the NHL. So it certainly should be interesting to see what direction they head in. So if you have any thoughts on the matter, you have any candidates in mind on who you'd like to see them hire or who you think they will, certainly leave some comments and let me know what you think down there. It's certainly quite possible an easy move, an easy transition here would be probably to let the experienced Lindy Ruff take over, but I'm not sure if that's the direction that they're going in or not. Obviously, during Vigneault's time in the 5 seasons in the Rangers organization, obviously the best season they had was when they went to the Stanley Cup Finals, ended up losing against the Los Angeles Kings. They've also had another time where they lost into the conference finals against the Tampa Bay Lightning the year after. So the first 2 seasons in the Rangers organization, they had a Stanley Cup final loss and a conference final loss, and things have been slowly declining from there. They kind of peaked in the first season, went down to the conference finals, then they had a couple of first-round losses and a second-round loss last year against the Ottawa Senators. And now this year they bottomed out completely and are going in a whole new direction. I'm not completely surprised. Vigneault kind of has a little bit of a reputation of not being the best coach for young players. So as I speculated before, this is not a move that comes as a great surprise, I was kind of on the fence, probably, you know, less than 50-50 chance that he returned next season. But the ball is dropped here. Vigneault has been let go, and I fully suspect we're going to have more discussions about other coaches being fired here in the coming days once all the season and everything wraps up here for the remaining teams that are especially out of the playoffs. If you're new to the channel, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, so there's plenty of content here for all fan bases to enjoy. If you haven't done so already, consider following us on Twitter. You're going to find our Twitter handle on the screen right here. We're very active on Twitter, so check that account. It's linked down below in the description. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We'll catch you next time.